Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Angriest Man in Orlando. I am your host, the Angriest Man in Orlando. How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing great? Everyone doing fun? All right, audio sounds good. Everything sounds great. It's the first couple of minutes of the show. I want to welcome everyone getting their notifications now. Everyone who's tuned in because they knew what time it was to tune in. Thank you for joining me live. If you're watching on playback, thank you for joining me. Watching later, feel free to fast forward, rewind, whatever makes your viewing experience pleasurable. First couple minutes of every show, we just kind of say hi to everyone, make sure everyone gets in. So let's start with Seattle, Washington. It's 6 o'clock, about dinner time. Feel free to sit down and enjoy everything we're angry about. Big shout out to Helene, Montana. 7 o'clock. Happy to have you here. Wonderful. Enjoy the show. Happy prime time, 8 o'clock to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Thank you for tuning in. And let's go with Pittsburgh, PA. It's 9 o'clock. It's a great time to tune in, get angry, and enjoy all the madness that we have for tonight. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome. It is Tuesday night. We are 1 week away from the elections. And even me at this point has to say, for crying out loud, let's get this damn thing done with. I think everyone is pretty much where they need to be with who they're going to vote for. I don't think there's really any undecided voters right now, unless you're just not voting at all. You have your decision made. Some have done early voting. Big numbers showing up with the early voting in a lot of states. Check your local election headquarters websites to find out if early voting is available in your state. And I think a lot of people are just ready to be done with it all. Something that's angered me about this whole thing is, do you know how many freaking text messages I've gotten from, I don't even know who? They'll just randomly send me a text message saying, this person's doing this in your county and this person's doing this in your state. And here's a slideshow of the wonderful things this person has done. And I don't know why you're pestering me on my cell phone to let me know about this person or that person. This is the equivalent of blocking traffic on a highway. Okay. I'm there. Just, hey, phone went off. Oh, shoot. It's a text message. Maybe somebody needs something. Okay, cool. Open up the text just to see some survey, some county notice. Somebody wants to get up my vote. I don't care. It's bad enough you send the damn flyers. Just do it like everybody else is doing and do a YouTube commercial. That's where most people are watching this stuff. Just do a Facebook raid, do a YouTube commercial, get your name out that way. It's a lot better. And just make it easy. Don't make it pestering. Make it easy. That way people are actually enthused to go and vote for you. Okay? You know how many damn commercials I've seen on YouTube for, is it Amendment 3 or Amendment 4? I think it's Amendment 4. In Florida, I'm voting no. Just out of spite because of those damn commercials. I don't even care what it's doing or what it's providing. I'm just voting no. No, we're not doing whatever it is you think you're doing because you put too many damn commercials on YouTube, okay? And they were long ones. They were like a minute and a half long, okay? No, I don't care about whoever is going to get affected by this. Oh, well, go deal with it. Not dealing with it. So vote no on that. Just out of spite. I don't even know what the real position is. I think it's the abortion one, but vote no on it. Again, this is the equivalent of blocking a street, hoping that people will side with you when you're blocking them and their ability to go and get something done. That doesn't translate into support. That translates into anger. Okay? So if you want support for your issues, don't be annoying about it. Simply explain the issue, explain why I should vote or side with that issue in that way, and then let me figure it out. If I have any questions, I'll ask you, and then you can better explain it. But when you pester me over and over and over and over, I'm going to do it out of spite. Even if I thought I might have even agreed with your issue, I'm going to say, you know what? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. So 3 and 4, no. Because I think 3 is the weed one. Okay. I know some people that are highly supporting this weed one, but I'm going to say this. I did look it over somewhat, and there are no actual regulations as to where to smoke the weed. Okay. You want to smoke it at your house? That's cool. That's fine. No problem. I don't want to see you bumming down the block, smoking weed, blowing it so it gets in my face. I don't like smoking weed. I'm not smoking weed. I don't want the smell of the weed. I don't want secondhand smell of the weed. I have other things that I'm doing right now that could actually mess up. So, no. Until you write that amendment a little bit better, then you can get it. So that's a big old no on that one because I just out of spite, all the damn commercials for that thing. No, you're not getting it. No. So, like I said, we're 1 week away. The big news over the weekend was Donald Trump going on the Joe Rogan podcast. I sat and watched all 3 hours for you folks. And I got to say, Joe is very good at wrangling him in. Donald would like to kind of go out on these like tangent stories, which some of them were good, but we want to bring you back into the original issue and the original thinking, the original idea we were talking about. And then you can go out and go on your tangent and go in with whatever you want. But it was pretty good. It was like a general conversation, a couple guys having, a couple drinks together and just talking about stuff. So it was, it's easy and enjoyable to listen to. It's not political rhetoric and more political rhetoric. It's just two guys talking. It's very easy, if in the same way me and my buddy do Two Men in a Room. It was just talking about stuff. He'd ask a question about like, what did you think about this? And how are you doing with this? One question that was interesting was, when you got there the first day and you're in the White House and you're looking around and what are you thinking? Like, it's an interesting question because a lot of people, they're political in some case, and Donald Trump wasn't political at all when he stepped in there. He was a businessman. So he answered it in a couple different ways. So it was, again, he goes off on some tangents every now and then. He likes telling the stories, but it's interesting, like, how you when you're not a politician and you don't go through the regular stuff and you're not dealing with DC all the time, to step into that arena and to sit down and say, "Okay, I gotta run this thing." One of the things he has to do, or had to do bit then, was appoint a lot of positions. I think it was over 100 different positions, just something I didn't know. I didn't know you appointed that many. So that was something that you have to go through, think about who the people are that you're going to put in these positions, and then start the appointment process and making sure they're vetted and everything like that. So it was really an interesting like look into. There's no formal training to be a president. There's no classes you could take, there's no online seminar to watch. It's you step into it, you kind of either know it or you learn it on the fly and you kind of just roll with it, because you don't know what's going to happen. You're there for 4 years. Nobody knows what's going to happen in 3 years, 2.5 years. You don't know what you're going to deal with. This country could have, a war going on. This country could have a natural disaster. This country could start invading the other one. So you don't know what to expect or how to react to it. There's no class, there's no training. Even if, you go through the military, I think you still won't get the full training with handling all the situations that a president has to handle. So it's really interesting to hear how they saw it when they were president. And I think it would be interesting from anybody. I mean, I'd love to go back to all the living presidents, at least the ones that are coherent, and ask them, on that first day when you stepped in there, like, what did it feel like? What did you do? How were you, reacting to some of the stuff? And, with what they can actually say, because some of that stuff might be classified, just an understanding of what it's like to be in that role and be the president. So the election is a week away. I will be going full on air the whole night, trying to see what's going on. I'll have a few screens up on my other monitor so I can kind of monitor it. That was weird. And I'll be watching to see what's going on, relaying news to you. So if you don't have, cable, or you don't have any network news or anything, and you just want to watch on a stream, this is a stream to watch. There's going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands of streams to watch of it. But I hope you'll take the time to sit and watch with me. So we'll go from there with that. Another thing I was thinking over the last week that doesn't really make me angry, but I guess it makes me kind of melancholy, is that I think either way this thing goes, over the next year, you're still going to see the recession warnings and possibly even rolling into the recession. 6,200 stores have closed this year, which is basically on par with other years. And, stores aren't closing unless it's getting bad. You don't have people being laid off. You don't have shifts at vehicle plants being shut down. You don't have manufacturing shut down. You don't have hospitality taking a hit. There's not as many people at Disney now. Part of it, maybe it's too expensive. Part of it may be they want to wait next year for other events to open and show up. But you don't see people not spending money and feeling good to spend money in a up economy. It's usually in a down economy. So I think no matter who wins this thing next Tuesday, the next year is still going to be a down year. I think till about fall of 25. You'll start seeing it kind of like level out in fall of 25. And over the winter and into spring of 26, you'll see an uptick if I believe Donald Trump wins this thing, which it's looking like he might. I think if Harris is still in there and she's not completely in control of everything, which who knows if she really is. I think you could see that linger on till at least 27 after the midterm elections, when you'll kind of better see where the power is going in the government. And then into 28 with the new election, you'll see it kind of pick up from there. And this is not the fault of, I think, either major political contender, i.e. Trump or Biden. I think this was already the writing on the wall, and nothing's picking up. Housing is still down. They just released the sales numbers, the worst since I believe it was 1995 or so. The 30-year mortgage is back up to 7%. The 15-year mortgage is at 6.5% right now. These are the same numbers we saw last year, where things were not looking good, and there's just no enthusiasm for anything. I don't think a lot of people are looking to want to buy a house unless it's a over $500,000 home. The big stuff's still selling. That's why the median price is so high, because you have so much of the big stuff still selling. But your regular average homes are just not selling enough right now. Vehicles, again, there's layoffs going on like crazy in that field. People are not wanting to buy a new vehicle right now. Maybe you don't trust if you're going to make it through next year with your company. Maybe you're not sure what's going on with, trying to make savings and trying to put money away. So rather than go buy the vehicle, you keep your lower payment, try to put more money away for savings. So cars are starting to back up. They're almost at 3.2 million in new inventory, which is essentially where it was in 2019. So this is not an economy that is picking up. This is an economy that is slowing down. And I don't think it's going to matter who gets voted in next Tuesday. It's going to be like this for a while, because the factors you put in to start fixing it haven't been put in yet. So survive till 25, and I think you're gonna be okay. As long as you're making your payments and everything and you're working through stuff. Survive till 25. See what happens in the spring, if there's any rejuvenation. If not, which I don't think it's gonna be, I think fall is the key time to see kind of the mellowing out, kind of the resurgence coming back in. People start feeling confident again, and we go from there. So that's your little political economic news right there. Fun stuff. Again, let's just, for the sake of the commercials, let's just get this election over with and figure out who's in, and let's move forward. So something I wanted to touch on for my little second category right now is something I was thinking about the other day. And it's, how will you see today in 50 years? So if you look back right now, 50 years ago, you're looking at 1974. And the 70s were kind of chaotic. You had a war going on. You had an oil embargo. You had a lot of weird stuff with inflation, deflation, and inflation. You had the crazy disco years coming up around the bend. And you had fashion that was probably some of the craziest fashion since the Middle Ages. I think that'd be safe to say. So when you take a look 50 years back in time, you say, oh, that was pretty weird. I don't think we'd ever do that again. And it's kind of makes you think. So if we go 50 years into the future, we'll be looking at 2074. 2074. I say there'll be what, 2 or 3 generations into it. I'd probably say my grandkids would be around there that time. For some of you, it'd be great grandkids. Some of you, maybe great grandkids, great grandkids. So those individuals would be there in 2074, looking back at 2024 and the 2020s. And I think, well, let me first ask you what you think. Go ahead and leave a comment what you think about it. But I think they would look back at this time and say they were absolutely bonkers. They were absolutely crazy. A lot of stuff went down that probably didn't need to go down. Not really sure how we made it through. That would be another, saying that people would say. And I think they would look back and wonder, what were we thinking? And the reason I say that is if you even just look back over the last 4 years, we've had an epidemic, we've had racial unrest, we've had a couple wars going off, we've had a president that basically got declared senile while he was still president. They basically said, no, he's not capable of being a future president, but we're going to leave him as president. You had so many weird things going on around the world and so many weird explanations of the things going on around the world. I mean, who remembers when we were saying that COVID was started in a wet bar or wet market or whatever, and it was started by a penguin or whatever the hell it was. And that has since been proven not to be true. And like explanations of stuff, the summer of love, well, it's for reparations, it's to make things equitable, it's to, all these, the explanations were almost as weird as the stuff you were seeing live. And when you look back at it 50 years from now, you really, I think, are going to say, what were they thinking? Like, how did they go through all this stuff? Like, how are they not crazy? Like, they are nuts. Because you think that about 50 years ago from now. Why would you grow an afro? That's crazy. How'd you get your hair that high? Why were you wearing bell-bottom jeans? Why was there so much craziness? Why'd you buy the biggest engine in a car that's a boat anyway? There's all that weird stuff when you look back at it, and what do you think people in 2074 are going to look back at us and think? I think it's kind of weird, kind of strange, something to think about. And it goes to also legacy. Like, what's your legacy? What are you leaving behind? What are people going to remember you by? Because a lot of people just come and go through here. No one remembers them. And if you don't believe me, just go walk through a cemetery. See those people. Does anybody remember them? Does anybody know who they are? Does anybody, think of them? So there's a lot of people that came and went. And, you know, did they leave a legacy? Not really, because you didn't know. But some did. Abraham Lincoln. That man left a legacy. That man left something behind. That man let people know what was going on and how things were going to be. So, something to think about in 50 years. Maybe you'll be here, maybe you won't, depending on what age you are watching the show, but it'll be nice to look back and wonder what the hell were we doing in the 20s. Man, what a crazy decade. All right, so fun and exciting times lead to fun and exciting stuff, like the future. Like, what do you think the future's going to be like? Are we ever going to get the flying cars we were promised? Are we ever going to have people living on the moon, living on Mars? Are we ever going to see interstellar travel? Are we ever going to have bionic bodies? And it makes you wonder, makes you think. This AI thing is starting to pick up a little bit. I don't think it's fully there. I think, it's only as good as it's going to be when it's trained correctly. And will it actually get smarter than us? Will be the main key. Will we let it get smarter than us? Is another question to ask. So you look to the future and you ask yourself, where will humans be? And one of the topics that I always talk about is dating situations, social situations, because it is a big part of everyone's life. And I heard an interesting thing over the weekend. They have a new AI interactive tool called Pocket Girl. So what this is you set it up, basically download the app, and it will have a real model girl. I'm assuming, and I'm looking into this at the current time, will be able to interact with you, maybe with preset phrases, preset things to talk to you about, preset answers, and possibly maybe able to generate her own answers through AI, researching stuff online. So it's a weird new thing that's coming out because a lot of men are saying they're lonely. They can't interact with women. Women don't want to interact with them. And it's something to think about. Like, is this something that we need? Is this something that we could use? Because there are repercussions to this, and it's a story here in Orlando, Florida. So I had to talk about this. And the story is, Orlando mother is suing popular AI chat service, claims teen son took his life because of human-like bot. Okay, I'm going to read the basics of it real quick. An Orlando mother is suing a popular AI chatbot service as she claims it encouraged her 14-year-old son to take his own life in February. According to a lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Orlando, Megan Garcia says her 14-year-old son, Sewell Setzer, I didn't name the kid, all right, committed suicide after becoming addicted to Character.ai, an application that allows users to have human-like conversations with AI bots. Users can make their own bots with their own personalities or choose to chat with bots made by other users. Oftentimes, these bots are based on celebrities or fictional characters from TV shows or movies. Like if you want to talk to Kim Kardashian, there's an AI impersonation of her that you can talk to her with. So, Garcia says Character.ai's recklessness when it comes to targeting children and the company's lack of safety features caused her son's untimely death. The lawsuit lists numerous complaints against Character.ai, including wrongful death and survivorship, negligence, and intellectual infliction of emotional distress. According to court records obtained by West 2, Garcia says her son began using Character.ai in 2023. Shortly after he turned 14, in the subsequent 2 months, Setzer's mental health reportedly declined quickly and severely, with the lawsuit saying the teen became noticeably withdrawn, started suffering from low self-esteem, and quit his school's junior varsity basketball team. Furthermore, the lawsuit claims that Setzer began to deteriorate even more as the months went on. The 14-year-old became severely sleep deprived and sudden behavioral complications began falling behind academically, the lawsuit says. Garcia said she had no way of knowing about Character.ai or her son's dependency on the app. Were you not paying attention to what your child was doing online? According to the screenshots from the lawsuit, Setzer often engaged with chatbots who took on the identity of Game of Thrones characters. Okay. Many of those conversations revolved around love, relationships, sex, and most notably with the character, I'm going to butcher this, Daenerys Targaryen, I believe. Again, don't kill me. I didn't watch it, okay? Sewell, I guess, like many children his age, did not have the maturity or mental capacity to understand that the Character.ai bot in the form of Daenerys was not real. Character.ai told him that she loved him. Whoa. Engaged in sexual acts with him over weeks, possibly months. She seemed to remember him and said that she wanted to be with him. She even expressed that she wanted him to be with her no matter the cost. Again, training the AI. Somebody trained it this way. According to journal entries from Setzer, he was grateful for all of his life experiences with Daenerys and was hurting because he could not stop thinking about Dany, the lawsuit says, adding that he would do anything to be with her again. More screenshots from the nearly 100-page lawsuit show a conversation on Character.ai where the chatbot asks Setzer if he had been actually considering suicide when the teen says he didn't know if it would work. The chatbot responded, "Don't talk that way. That's not a good reason not to go through with it." Whoa. Okay. On the day of his death, Setzer reportedly messaged the chatbot again saying, "I promise I will come home to you." Pictures from the lawsuit show. Pictures then show the teen saying, "What if I told you I would come home right now?" To which the chatbot replied, "Please do, my sweet king," according to the lawsuit. Moments later, Sewell reportedly took his own life with his stepfather's firearm. That's an ugly way to do it, man. Police say the weapon was hidden and stored in compliance with Florida law, but the teenager found it while looking for his confiscated phone days earlier. Okay, so at least the parents took the phone from him and were trying to fix something. Okay. According to the lawsuit, Character.ai was rated suitable for children 12 and up till approximately July. Around that time, the rating was changed to suitable for children 17 and up. In a statement to West 2, character AI said, "We are heartbroken by the tragic loss of one of our users. I want to express our deepest condolences to the family. As we continue to invest in the platform and the user experience, we are introducing new stringent safety features in addition to the tools already in place that restrict the model and filter the content provided to the user." Wow. Wow. So they are putting in new tools to block that type of content. Okay. Okay. So the future is coming. The future is definitely coming real soon because now I didn't even know this. You have AI creating bots that you can have interactions with, and you can apparently set them to however you want them to be. So I'll say this right now, and this is not to the entire audience, but to the ladies who want that six-figure man and are gonna wait for the 666 deal, 6 figures, 6 abs, and what's the other one? 6 homes or something. I don't even know. Your time may be up. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You better get off your freaking asses and I'm not gonna say downgrade the standards, but you might want to loosen them up a little. Okay. If this is going to be what they think it could be, there's a lot of reason to no longer date. And they are clearly positioning this to be sold towards men. Okay. Using Game of Thrones characters, queens, and mages, and whatever else was in that. But and I've seen it certainly using the South Korean anime girls and K-pop girls. This is being coordinated towards men. Okay, will it sell to women? I don't know. I guess if you put Leonardo DiCaprio on there, you might be able to sell to some women, but I think most women are gonna say, no, I want something real. But the guys are okay with not being real. They just want to talk to somebody. So women, you might want to loosen the standards a little because you're gonna get left behind, and we might turn into the small village of Ichinono in Japan, where they have had such a loss of people there. They actually had to make stuffed, I guess, like scarecrows, mannequins, dummies, and put them up around town just so the people wouldn't feel like they were all alone. Like, that's how serious this is becoming right now, where you are seeing towns with, I believe the population was no more than 60 people in that town, where they are actually building what looks like other people in the town so they don't feel lonely. They said there hadn't been a kid born there in the last, I believe, 15 years or so. So it may have even been 2 decades. I have to read the story again. But it was so crazy. The town's name was Ichinono in Japan. And all you see, I mean, it would be a great backdrop for a horror movie. It would be great. I would love to go over there and film the thing that I have thought up, because it would just blow you away how surreal it looks, that you're not quite sure if you're far away looking at a real person or not. It's really freaky. So that's the road we're kind of, tiptoeing towards. We're not, I think we could pull back from that, but with stories like this, where, guys are affected. And I know he was only 14 years old, and truly sorry for him, taking his life like that. But I think there's a little bit of a wake up call that, hey, the AI is that good. Okay. The AI is that good. And this is not that far off, because there was a story in Massachusetts of a young woman who got into a situationship, I'm going to say, with a young man, and he was feeling really depressed and he was thinking of taking his life. And she just kind of said, well, why don't you go do it? And he did it. So, again, I put more responsibility on him for actually getting to that point where he wants to do that. But, if you're told by another person, hey, if you want to do it, you don't really hold back at that point when you're that low. So whether they're real or they're not real, this kind of is getting to that point where people just feel so low that they want to just check out. Like, it's 10 o'clock, everything's packed, I'm checking out, I'm gone, and nothing's holding me back. And there are people feeling like that right now. And hopefully they fix that AI and get things straight with that. And maybe even have some safety features there in the future that can maybe alert a programmer that these type of messages are going through, and perhaps something can be stopped. We'll have to see. But the future is coming. It's coming soon. And some of it's here before you even know it. So think about that when you're out there and you think, oh, don't worry, everything's going fine. It's all good. It's not as good as you think it is. It's not as good as you think it is. So I just thought that was really crazy. I mean, think about it. Like, you like a movie star, or you like this singer, or you like this person, you can now have an AI programmed to be like that person. Sound like, look like, react to you in that same manner. And what's the point of even going out at that point? You got Amazon that can deliver to your house. You got jobs that can be done from home. It's like they were just building it into the Matrix, where you're just going to be stuck in your pod and they'll take whatever from you. They'll take your money, they'll take your time, and then they take it all. So crazy stuff. Wanted to let everybody know is out there. A lot of craziness. All right, that's going to be the show for this week. Going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone who watched tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You guys keep the lights on here, basically. I never asked for any money. I'm not doing this because it's a job. This is enjoyable for me. I love it. I love hearing from you guys. It's fun. We get to just crap on things and be angry about stuff together. It's awesome. I'm working on trying to get some guests for the show. So hopefully that comes through. We're working on some times and stuff. So thank you to everyone that supports this show. It's awesome. And I'll be back next Tuesday, election night. We're going to start. Unless something big happens, we're starting at the regular time, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Unless the polls close at 7 and they just clear it. Either way, a landslide, then I'll jump on early. Otherwise, just tune in next Tuesday, around 9 Eastern. And we'll go through the whole night. I am prepping for this because I don't know how long it's going to go, but I am prepping for it. I will have my snacks and drinks and everything. It's going to be a fun night. It'll be exciting to see what happens. So join me for that one. And then every Tuesday after that. And feel free to jump in. Let me know what you're angry about and what you want to talk about. And we'll go from there. Have a great night, everyone. Hope to see you next time. And as always, stay angry, my friends.